everyone. Welcome to today's program on justice, a lawyer's hangout where lawyers dissect legal issues with intent to create awareness, educate, and enlighten the public. I am Cecilia Meme, and joining me on today's program are three lawyers in the legal profession in the person of Pascal Okwanachi, Ebenezer Amadi, and Miss Munirat Adama.
Thank you for
Welcome
having
to
us.
today's
Thank you very
episode. Today we will be discussing justice, the legal views on trending issues. My colleagues and I will be sharing our legal views on various trending issues. So, our first story last week, social media went agog when a video of a teacher, Stella Unwadiago, repeatedly assaulted a 3-year-old pupil having difficulty writing the number 6. Mr. Pascal, what's your view on that act with regards to the provisions of the law?
When I saw that trend, I didn't look at it from the legal perspective, to be sincere with you. I looked at it from the angle of the morality.
Okay.
And then the levels to punishment. For whatever, even in our laws, for whatever offense, there are limits to the type of punishment you can.
That must be met.
Yes, it's okay. The child can be chastised, but there are now more advanced and professional ways of handling children. Not like the way we were brought up at the time. The teaching system, the inculcation of knowledge system before now was very harsh. But these days, climes have shifted and deviated from that harsh, brutal way of impacting knowledge. So when I saw it, I looked at it from the morality and whatever is what. How old is the child?
3 years.
Just 3 years.
I just looked at it from the angle of the morality to start with. If we ever want to go into the law, it's a good thing she's been arrested ahead, but if you want to go into the law, there are too many issues to look at.
Munira, did you see that video?
I saw the video, and she even had the audacity to plead not guilty, but it's no matter what, she was hitting the child directly on the head.
The child's head.
On the head, like hitting her on the head
when
will
I saw the video,
amount to the child knowing how to write 6.
I couldn't watch that video to the end. I started watching the video, and at a point, I had to turn off my phone because I was getting very emotional.
But you notice how the child was holding in the pain. The child didn't cry, even for 1 minute. I watched the video twice just to study the child, to tell you that was not the first time. Maybe they are used to that pattern of teaching in the long run, but it's terrible. According to the law,
it's a violation of... Is that not child assault or child abuse?
Yeah, it is a child assault. In fact, what the woman did was very barbaric, because if you look at the age of the child, just a minor, 3 years, and you think the right way to correct or teach the child is by hitting the child, that's
on the head.
Very wrong. And if you look at the Child Rights Act, you will see that actions like this, including flogging, is against the provisions of the Child Rights Act. So if you are hitting the child or even flogging the child under the Child Rights Act, you are already committed an offense.
That's what some people don't understand.
The woman was actually
it can even be overlooked.
She allegedly said that the child is her child, and then I asked, if the child is your child, does it give you enough
to hit the child in that aggressive way?
I think a few days back, the actual parents of the child are now coming up to say that thing affected the child's ear or something, that they had to go to the hospital because of that incident.
Yes, she was hitting the child on the same spot over and over, as long as the child misses or forgets how to write 6. That's wrong on all levels. Like Pascal said, she does not have. There's no morality in her in the first place.
The Child Rights Act,
of course, and violence against persons.
Violence against persons as well.
Even the violence against
why the matter is dear to me was because I was very emotional. Somehow it gave me some level of PTSD.
Yes,
I had issues with mathematics because of a particular math teacher. Yes, in my elementary.
I think same here too.
And then you remember, it's not like now. When you do a particular offense like this, they bring you to the assembly
ground and flog you.
Yes, give you 40 strokes.
I even dug hole.
A lot of those things have changed now.
Yeah.
And so maybe the nature of the school, but what I would just say, that woman, for me, she's a bitter person. she needs to be investigated.
Yeah.
In fact, even her psychology, her mental state also needs to be checked.
And we're also glad that she has been arrested so that it can serve as a deterrent to other teachers.
Many
out
of
there.
them
And when you are around people that do that, you should speak up. I saw a guy sitting down there
true. And
unbothered.
unbothered, thank you.
Unbothered. You should speak up against things like this because we have laws slated
And we also
in
have to thank
Nigeria.
the person that also did that recording, because we could have,
Yes,
you know, if there was no video
There's no way
evidence.
that child will not be affected because he's
Affected
hitting him
psychologically.
on the same spot over and over again. That's wrong on all levels.
Yeah, so to our viewers out there, you should know that any act of that nature would land you in prison once she goes through the process and the judge determines her fate. That's it. There's no pleading. There is no I'm sorry or whatever. So moving on to our next story is about this trending video of a lady who works in a boutique in Lagos that was being flogged mercilessly. Mr. Amadi, what's your view on that? I'm sure you saw that video.
Honestly, when I saw the video, I was so embarrassed. Because
I think the guys,
Is it-
what,
is
I don't know, is
it-
it
is it
1,
from
2,
your
3,
town?
1, 2, 3, 4, I mean about 4
No,
guys or
about
5
four
guys.
Another
flogging
guy
her with
sitting down,
cane,
waiting and viewing the whole stuff.
flogging her back. The lady was even crying and pleading.
Well, that act alone is very barbaric. That's number one. It shouldn't exist in a civil society. That's among the from the scenario, a lot of offenses were committed. One, there is the offense of assault and battery. There is another one. There is a sexual offense. From
Because
that,
they stripped her naked.
because if you look
Yes.
very well, you will see the way they laid her on the ground and they were flogging her on every part of
Part
her
of her
body.
body.
There is also the offense of torture on that same place. There is even the offense of confinement because they confined her in a
Confined
place.
her.
So when you look at it, you will see that the people involved, they have committed several offenses that when you go deeply into prosecution, it may lead them to 25 years imprisonment. If you look at, there are a lot of laws that they have offended. For example, the VAP Act, Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act,
Exactly.
strictly prohibited the offense of assault, causing grievous harm to someone, Section 2 precisely. And he made it 5 years imprisonment with the option of fine, or even with both, in case you are found guilty of such act. We also have the Anti-Torture Act of 2017. So when you look at the provisions of Section 2 of the Anti-Torture Act, it strictly prohibited any form of torture, whether physical torture or mental torture. And under the Anti-Torture Act, if you are convicted, it is 25 years imprisonment.
Imprisonment.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we also have other laws. The Penal Code and the Criminal Code also criminalizes torture. So if you are talking about the civil aspect of it, we also have the issue of violation of the fundamental human
Fundamental
rights
yes.
of the person. We have that from that video alone, from that action alone, her right to personal dignity
Has been
was violated.
Grossly
Trauma for
violated.
life.
Violated, and even her right to liberty was also violated. Even her right to privacy, and even on that same action, they even accused her of stealing, which is also defamation.
She might actually have stolen or committed the offense
An
of
offense.
theft. We
But
have
does it
done the
warrant
offense of
that?
theft. Go
Yes,
to our
what
previous
happens
episode.
what happens
Yes.
to the
There
employer
is a law.
transferring her to the police officer? or the
Exactly.
crime agent?
That's the right
Because
way.
there are
You
laws in place.
You can't put laws in your hands. There is a
Jungle
procedure.
justice.
Yes.
There is a procedure for prosecution. You have to report to the police for them to first investigate.
Investigate.
If they investigate, then they prosecute the person in court.
Immediately.
It's not even the power of the police to convict
Or even torture her.
or even torture her.
Yes.
They don't even have such power. So the only power they have is to investigate and prosecute the case in court. And also, there is also another issue from that same place, what we call forced labor. Is a labor issue. Because it happened in a workplace.
In the
Yes.
workplace.
It
yes.
happened in a
And you
workplace.
see ignorant Nigerians commenting, why she thief, why she thief, why she
Yes,
thief, why
is
she
there
thief,
enough
why she thief.
reason to put someone through that kind of act?
Yeah,
It is because of ignorance.
exactly.
Is
And
ignorance.
you saying that why she thief, yes, she stole. Yes, there's a offense of theft.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
That's not
let's
been
even
proven.
say she stole. But if even though she stole, like Amadi rightly said, there are laws that are put in place and there are channels rightly put in place for you to prosecute or to seek justice for such things.
On this note, we are calling on the police force, Inspector General of Police, whichever agencies that will be in charge, they should take up that issue and rightly prosecute the
The
employer.
proportion was
both
not,
the employer and every other person that engaged in that act. Because
yes.
if they acted on the instruction of the employer, so they all are liable, they are culpable.
The
About
way they
4 of
tortured
them.
her and the offense of the theft, it does not correlate. We're talking of proportion just now.
There
It
is
doesn't
nothing,
co-
even if
it doesn't
even
correlate.
Even if they accused her of stealing, the law presumed everyone to be innocent
Innocent
until
exactly.
proven guilty.
Guilty, exactly.
Okay,
That's on point.
quickly moving on to our third trend. There's this incident that occurred in Lagos State where the Commissioner for Tourism, Mrs. Toke Benson, was seen allegedly assaulting an individual. So in that video, we could hear sounds like "Stop recording me," "Don't record me," "I'm not leaving," and all of that. Mr. Pascal, what's your take on that?
Seems our trends today are coming more from Lagos.
Fortunate is coming from Lagos. Why do we draw the line between? I don't know. Because we don't have like a complete fact of the whole video evidence that was put out there. But then again, where do we draw the line between rights to privacy and someone recording your phone, the need for consent, and then again allegedly assault? So the fact that someone infringes on maybe one of my rights, is it enough for me to also maybe commit another crime or
Well,
something like that
personally,
nature?
I'm not a fan of half story
Okay.
because I don't know where the whole. Of course, there was a program, person came uninvited. I'm not saying this as a fact that I'm aware, but if that is the situation and you came in uninvited to a program that you ordinarily should not be, it is bad enough that you have to come that way. Then going in surplusage to raise your phone and begin to video at
When you
an
are asked-
event where you are not even ordinarily
Welcome,
invited
yeah.
is way out of it. It's an infringement. It's a fundamental infringement on privacy.
Yes.
All right. Especially given we don't know the nature of the
what
engagement of
transpired.
that day or what was going on that needed not to be recorded. Of course, we shouldn't be doing some things in secret.
Yes.
Given the fact that she is also a public
Public
servant.
officer.
Yes.
But regardless of that fact, there are events where you come to and you tell people not to video because in Nigeria now, we have to be careful what we put out there. There are a lot of misconceptions here and
Yes,
there.
yes.
So you're going to do a video and you're going to put a half story out there, all right, that may not be full, or you may just pick one part of her
The part that
statement.
suits you.
Yes.
It becomes a problem. So she was trying to sincerely protect herself, but I think she went a little bit overboard in doing that because
Yes.
even at stake, she should have some level of security presence. Even security presence at that program that she can easily tell, okay, do this.
There
or
were
they'll walk
securities in
them
the
out.
video, and she was telling them to work them up. but
I
they
even saw it
refused.
like an altercation
They
going on.
refused.
but-
refused to go
They
out.
refused to work
Instead
them
of going
out.
out, they started videoing her
Yes.
actions and then she got provoked. So, like I said before, that is a two-way thing. The lesson to be learned from this is in the pursuit of you protecting your own right, you shouldn't infringe on another person's right.
rights, yeah.
So it goes two ways. So let's just assume the story is correct and you are videoing someone just because she's a public servant doesn't mean she does not have her own right to privacy. And just because your own right to privacy was infringed doesn't mean you should violate someone
Another
else in order for you
person's
to
right.
drive home your point.
Yeah, that's
this
fair.
now brings us to what we have been saying since this program began. Nigerians should learn.
Make it right.
Yes,
Yeah.
Nigerians should learn, please, because we don't have that culture inside of us to follow the right channels to do the right thing. The moment we learn to do that, a lot of things will be solved in this space we call Nigeria.
Okay, Miss Munirat, can we go? Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation on trending.
Hello, have you or anyone you know suffered violation or oppression, regardless of cultures, identities, or backgrounds? Leadership Hub, Justice and Economic Advancement is here for you. an organization created with an amplified voice to fight for you and with you. At LJE Nigeria, you will not only be heard, but also provided with legal support. Together, we can create a country where every individual can live without fear of violation or oppression. I am Aisha Shetima, an LJE member. You too can become a member today or report any violation by visiting our website, ljenigeria.org. You can also follow us on all social media platforms for more information and updates. Remember, together, we are stronger.
Welcome back from our break, and we'll be moving on to our next story of the trending video of the sons of the billionaire Chief Okoya, where they were seen dancing and spraying the Naira notes. And beside them spraying and dancing, there was a police officer that was holding the Naira notes. And from all information available to the public, the police officer have been identified and will I say arrested or detained for disciplinary actions. But
Okay.
as of this moment, we don't have any information that the sons of the billionaire have been arrested, though we heard they've been invited,
Allegedly.
allegedly. So are we saying that this issue of Naira mutilation or Naira offenses, they are doing selective justice, selective punishment rather, in Nigeria? Mr. Pascal, what's your take? What's your view?
Well, if we are looking at it from the angle of selective justice or selective arraignment and all of that, well, that is one side to it.
Wait, sorry, not forgetting, in the twist of events, the sons of this billionaire posted an apology to Nigerians. And in that apology, they were pleading with Nigerians that Nigerians should not be angry with them, that they did not know that what they were doing was maybe
What's
wrong or something.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. But then again, yes, it's okay to apologize, but it doesn't exculpate them of whatever punishment that should come ordinarily for that offense.
Okay.
You know, that's why I have always been an advocate of intergovernmental agency synergy. The National Orientation Agency has a lot of work to do. The CBN also have a lot of information pulling out to do. Why the EFCC also does their prosecutorial duties, all right? Now, if you look at it from the angle of what they did and what they did not do, Naira mutilation, Naira offenses is going on every day. You will go out there now, you will see Naira squeezed in people's pockets. They give you as change either when you're jumping commercials and all of that.
But
It is an offense.
what's making this case different from the case of Bobrisky and Cubana Chief Priest?
Nobody has said it's different because at least the agency has.
It's different because in those
get the
instances,
point?
it is different. Those ones, the arrest came within a very short period of time, 48 hours.
We have been able to establish that they've been invited, which is the right thing to do as a first point of call. All right. Going forward, we don't know what they have done, and we don't know where they are as of this time of speaking. I don't like to put information that I'm not fully handy with. So if that invitation has happened, it's possible there is something going on in the background, all right? But they have a defense. These days, now people are beginning to print Naira more like print normal with their...
That's props.
Yes, and then they just use it for their shalaye or whatever they call it. So they still have a defense. What if they come and say, how do you prove it? That is where some of you professionals come.
But
How do you prove that was actually a Naira note?
But in previous cases, they always do not wait to say this is props or something.
exactly.
Once they see the video circulating, in the case of
For whatever
Cubana,
it's worth, you
in the
know,
case of
Bobrisky
Cubana,
pleaded
this
Did they
is
take
also came
permission?
up.
You know, Bobrisky pleaded
Bobrisky
guilty.
pleaded guilty, but in the case of Cubana Chief Priest, I think there were some people coming up with this idea that what if it was props? They did not wait to confirm if it was props before they arrested
No,
him.
we are saying they have a defense in the event of their investigation or the invitation they've given them.
But with
It
the
could be part of
defense
their
fly,
argument. I'm just
with the
telling you.
defense fly, because I know that for Nollywood, there's a certain procedure you have to follow for you to be able to print props.
Yes.
I'm not sure they went through that procedure to print the props. So that defense cannot fly
But you could see the
So you are sitting in the place of a judge now.
You could see the speed.
not really in the
No,
place
no,
of
you're
the, but the
sitting in the
defense
place
of-
has
you could see the
if you are
speed
bringing a
with which
defense,
the
if you are
police
bringing a defense, then there
officer-
should be a
I'm
counter
not making the
defense.
case for them.
Miss
let me
Miriam,
just
hold
make
on.
it
You
for
could
them.
see the speed with which the police officer was arrested, being that in the normal Nigerian parlance, just like the man just there on his own, but now in the first pick up. But the actual culprits, we never hear anything.
Because if the police was swiftly disciplined and he
So
was
why-
arrested on that,
why is there
why
no
is there
swift
just
in-
invitation they're
swift
inviting
investigation?
the Okoya's children? Why?
Now, let me
why
come
is the
in.
why is the
Let me come
Mr.
in.
Madi has something to say. Let's listen.
From my own perspective, it is just discriminatory persecution. that I
Exactly.
have seen. One, I refuse to believe that currently in Nigeria we don't have enough awareness on the issue of Naira mutilation. One, because
won't
of
have
the
an
issue
episode.
of Bobrisky. Bobrisky's issue was used to create
an
a
example.
massive awareness before the issue of
Kubana
Cubana
Cubana
chief priest
chief
now
priest.
came in. And there's no way you will say that the sons of the Okoya, that they are not aware. They are in the social media. And let me, the worst part of this whole issue is the fact that they did it for content.
Yes.
to
They
show
used
off.
it to show off in that case. So it is not an issue of ignorance of the law, which we already know that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And secondly, if you think they have a defense, this is not the stage for defense. At this moment, is for the prosecutorial agency to arrest them or invite them, do the investigation, and prosecute them in court. The issue, the law presumes them to be innocent. It is now there for them to defend in the court. But for now, we have not seen that.
Why is the case being used to flog Pauline, being delayed in flogging in Yabo?
Like if the individuals involved in that act were not the sons of the billionaires, so to say, I feel maybe because
the
from
police
previous
is a common
incidents,
man, we all
they
know
would
maybe
have
what he
picked
did
them
was
up, because
wrong.
the way that video
The point
circulated
is-
is
He has been
actually
swiftly
very-
prosecuted.
No,
What
If
is
we are
now
looking
wrong with the
for-
children?
If we are looking
of
for the
Okoya?
hangman,
And for those that may not understand what Naira mutilation is,
We'll
section
check our
21 of
episode.
the EFCC
21 of
Act.
the
Yes,
Yes,
we
yes.
have done it. Yes, they should check our
We also
previous
have
episode.
on
A
Naira
well-tailored.
mutilation. Once you are spraying the Naira, once you are tampering the Naira, you are marching on the Naira, you are dancing or
You
doing
collect change from
anything.
driver, you squeeze it. You don't have a
It's called
wallet
Naira
to arrange your
mutilation.
naira.
So
Yes.
Nigerians, we shouldn't act as if we don't know
Selling
what
and
it
exchanging
is.
the naira is mutilation.
And in that
too.
video, you could see them. The Naira was falling on the ground. They were stepping.
They use it to
on
do
And let me tell you,
telephone.
there's something we need to realize, including the EFCC. This case is a trap because the public will use it to persecute them.
Yes.
If they fail to prosecute
This
these
one.
sons,
Just the way they have done the
they are
others.
going to face a lot of challenge in further prosecuting people.
Yes.
And it is also going to affect their integrity and transparency. So they need to do the right thing. They need to prosecute
Why
them
should
for
why so they can swiftly
The-
prosecute the
the-
police and discipline the police that fast?
The police PRO responded to a comment where somebody asked, why have they not arrested the individual, so to speak? And he said that they should channel it to the right
which is EFCC.
quarters. Presumably now, he said
Yeah.
they should go and meet EFCC. But sometimes, even this police force, there are some matters that, as long as we know that an act has given agencies, mostly when the agencies are not specifically mentioned, we've seen them act in some of those kind of capacity, not just EFCC. But the way that response to that comment came, it felt like it is not our job. The people that are supposed to handle that issue, they know what to do. But would that have been the response?
now who arrested the police officer? Who called the police officer?
It is the police.
It's the
Because
police.
it's an ethical issue. So within the confines of the police force, they could discipline.
So why?
Get my
why
point,
the,
get my
sorry,
point,
hold on.
get
So
my
if they can
Hold
quickly
on, why the
discipline
police
him,
force is-
what is the
Munyas,
name?
hold on. Why the police force is receiving backlash from the public? Are we not meant to commend them,
Comment.
the police force, for that swift disciplinary measure?
Yes, they did a very good job calling him to order. All right, bringing him in for whatever it's worth. We've not seen the conviction or the judgment or the ruling or whatever in that matter. And we've also been able to establish that the EFCC, who has the prosecutorial powers for Naira mutilation, as we have been able to establish, has invited So the two agencies are doing their work the way they're supposed to do. And don't forget the place of distinguishing the facts. So you don't know what they are holding on to or how the investigation is going on per time as of now. So pending and until you have that information, we shouldn't be able
But
to
Pastor,
say
the
something.
question is, why are you
Has it
inviting
been-
some
has it
set
been
of persons?
invited? Yes. Is the matter ongoing? Possibly, yes.
It is alleged.
So
Why are you inviting
why-
some set of
Invitation,
persons and arresting
Yes.
others swiftly? That's the question.
Is it the one of Cubana?
The previous ones,
That's
yes.
why we are saying
that's what it means.
distinguishing the facts. You don't know the circumstances.
I'm
or
not
the facts of the-
Distinguishing in this fact.
Miss
When you
Munira.
see that one video that leads
The
to another,
circumstances
what
are not the same.
circumstances?
They are-
What
their
makes it
stories are not
different?
totally the same.
Miss Munirat, all eyes are on EFCC.
Their stories cannot totally be
Yes,
the
we
same.
are
What makes
watching,
it
we are
different?
seeing-
Are you just trying to
we are
berate the EFCC? You're trying to say that, okay, a media should just send him to jail?
No.
There is
That's
an
not,
invitation.
that's not what we're saying. We're
There is an
looking at
invitation.
But the
how
question
it's
is,
going
what
to
is
go.
the difference, Pascal? You're saying different. I want you to outrightly
It
state
is,
the
within,
difference.
it is within their knowledge. Until they do not do what they are supposed to do, that is when you can begin to berate them.
So-
They have done what
so
they are
we are
supposed to do
looking at-
professionally by
we are-
invitation first.
Yes.
Why
In
would
this
they
country,
invite
we have
one
always
and
contended
arrest others
we have always
swiftly?
contended that you shouldn't arrest my client at the spot. You must have him an invitation. We have filed many fundamental rights in that light. Do you understand me? So when you are the procedure is we invite first. They did not decline invitation.
It's only the Okoyas that have lawyers in Nigeria.
You said?
It's only the Okoyas that have lawyers in Nigeria.
We are not talking Okoya. We are talking
we are
professionally.
looking at
Don't take it.
how
Well, if we are talking
You-
in professionally,
have
you are
a-
talking about the subject. In the professionally, we are talking about the subject are the Okoyas.
Procedure for establishment of cases like this. The first thing to do is invitation.
But I
So
think-
once they are invited,
Yes.
whatever has happened after invitation, you sitting here now don't know. Do you understand? And you have not written to the EFCC to find out, are these people in custody? Has this matter been filed to charge to court? Do you understand me? And pending and until then, whatever we are saying here is based on
But
the
bear in
information
mind that
or
we
the
didn't
video that
write
we
to
just
them
saw.
for others, so. But we will write for this one since it suggests
No, we
that.
have to. You can write. You are professional.
Because-
you can write
But we didn't have
on
to
the
write for
progress of that
others, so we're
matter.
seeing the information coming freely to us.
Yes, you are seeing
I
that.
think
But
we
since you have not
we
seen
should
that,
do
they
equal
write.
justice for everybody.
No,
That's all I
so
have
can
to
we
say.
You are talking children of billionaire. It's a chief priest, not a billionaire. It's not even children of billionaire.
Mr.
So that
Pascal,
is not,
let's
it's
move
not
on to-
selective to that extent.
Let's
It
move
is
on to our
selective,
next-
Pascal, whether you agree with me or not.
No, you
No,
don't have
I
the
think,
facts.
I think
Neither do you have the facts.
That is why I'm saying we
Yeah,
should
Because
go
we are
to
seeing it as it is.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
We
yeah,
are
but
seeing
then
it
again-
as it is.
But then again,
We are seeing it as it is and as
Miss
it used
Munira,
to
All
be.
that we know in
Miss
this
Munira,
We are
matter,
seeing it as
Hold
it is
on,
and as it
all
used
that
to
we know in
be.
this matter is a trending video.
yeah,
There's a
that's-
pattern.
All that we
let's
know in
see,
this matter is a
let's-
trending video
I
of people
think,
using
Just the way trending video led to arrest in the previous arrest that has gone on in Naira mutilation.
Your own is the issue of
No,
comparison.
Mr. Pascal, hold on. Let's leave it at this. We are watching how this case is going to go
Perfect.
on, and like Mr. Amadi rightly said, it is also going to create a new perception about the EFCC. We are going to see if this is going to be like the others, and if it doesn't end up like the others, anything after this one would also lead to a public outcry.
Of course.
And
And it will be seen as
Most
selective
definitely.
actions being taken.
Most
So
definitely.
let's quickly move on to our
Yeah.
last story for today. A court in Abia State on the 10th of January sentenced a 27-year-old man to 14 years imprisonment on each count for defiling two minors aged 8 and 11 to run concurrently. Mr. Madi, what's your view?
It's a very good one. It's a good judgment, and we need to also commend the
Abia
complainants
State,
in the
okay.
case, because one of the major challenges we have in Nigeria is the willingness of the parents of the victim or even the victim to prosecute
the
the
matter.
case,
Very true.
because most times they feel when they come up it may bring shame to them, stigma in the society. And sometimes there is also an issue of pressure from even the accused person and the accused person's family, or even from the society to pressure them to withdraw the case. So it's good, and we should encourage people that suffer from sexual violence, rape,
Violence.
to prosecute the case, report the case to the appropriate authority. The police is there. We have NAPTIP, even other CSOs. You can report if you think that the prosecutory agencies, they are not doing the best to prosecute the case, like we have seen in some scenarios where some of them allegedly compromised. in order to drop the case, then you should come up and report to CSOs. We have the National Human Rights Commission. We have other national human rights bodies. You can also report to actually ensure that the case is
And
prosecuted.
LJE, most importantly, too, you can
Yeah.
report violation to on our website and our Facebook and our social handle.
See, defilement at whatever level should not be tolerated. There shouldn't even be an excuse for it. I think there are some laws in Nigeria, some states in Nigeria that even the punishment is death or life imprisonment. I was privy to be a part of a judgment I bumped into in court in Bayelsa.
Okay.
Sometime in, was it 2015 or 14, thereabout. I bumped into that. That's the judgment. I didn't know the case. But looking at the facts, defiling your own brother's child of how many years? So 7 years or so. Some men should just socket their organs.
Yeah, let me just come in. When you are talking
For whatever
about
it's worth, if it's sex you're looking for, it's very affordable now.
Yes.
So why would you go?
Everywhere, all over the
the
streets.
VAP Act, Violence Against Person Prohibition Act, made it life sentence
Okay.
for rape. Yes.
on the environment.
And even the Child Rights
Child
Act,
rights,
too,
yes, most importantly.
it also made it life imprisonment. So we have the laws there that made it very strict. It's a very strict offense.
It's a very commendable judgment.
Such people should be put out of circle.
Yes, very commendable
Please, to our
judgment.
viewers, we are encouraging you not to take laws into your own hands. If there is any case of assault or whatever violations happening around you, feel free to report to the police, report to their agencies involved in charge of all of these things. So thanks to my colleagues for sharing their legal views on recent trending matters, and to our viewers, thanks for staying with us till I come your way again. Bye for now.